Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being back in the hall on time. Very privileged to be doing this conversation with three business leaders who are also our customers. This we feel very privileged to actually be contributing and playing a very key role in building the architect talent pipeline. I think organizations that are creating roadmaps for digital transformation, I think clearly know one thing. Embracing and surviving in digital is more about people and talent and less about technology. And this talent especially is architects. Any success in digital transformation modernization journey lies largely on the shoulders of this talent, aka the architect talent. So in this, when we have been doing these, designing these learning programs, generally when we design tech leadership programs, architect programs in particular, one thing that we always keep in mind is there are different moments of learning needs that we call. The different moments of needs as in learning for all of us as individuals, as learners. Number one, when we learn something new. Number two, when we already know something but we are wanting to expand the breadth and depth of what we know. Number three, when we have to apply the learnings in a given situation. Number four, when we have to apply the learnings in a new situation. And lastly, completely a changed situation. It could be completely ambiguous, uncertain situations. Now, for all of these things, it's very important to realize that a lot of learning that is required to make this possible is outside the purview of a typical training program. A lot of this. And that is where I think the success of the architect competence development programs that we have been doing at StackRoot largely lies. Combining a lot of formal, informal, social learning strategies and clearly demarcating the levels of learners, the roles, where they are today, where they have to go tomorrow. A lot of this deep analysis sets the foundation for any design of our architect competence programs. So which is why we have put it based on what I said. We have aspiring architects for tech leads and those who are new to the role, who are aspiring to become architects in a few years. And second, architecting for performance, which is for architects who are new to the role. And third is architecting for change for practicing architects who need to
Enterprise Architect for an Agile Business, a 5-month program.
A lot of what Vijay and Srinivas from Bosch said in the last panel. So
Enterprise Architect for an Agile Business, a 5-month program is designed for practicing solution and tech.
I think we have been doing all of that in our architect programs, and the ratio differs while from the aspiring architect program all the way to architecting for change. And I think, and this is one thing that we wanted to share, and I'm very happy that I have three leaders with whom we have worked very closely. And all these three leaders are so passionate about building the talent pipeline. And that is very important because it's building the talent pipeline really means working with partners like us, designing the program, co-creating, co-designing, collaborating with us, monitoring, measuring performance to see the gap analysis, to see where talent has to be honed better. So I'm very happy and privileged to, to have Padma, with whom we worked very closely, Padmavati Krishnan from ITC Infotech, with whom we worked for the Aspiring Architect program. Murale Narayanan, Senior Director, Cloud Services, Dell, with whom we did the architecting for performance for those who are new to the role. And Nishith, Pathak, a global lead, architecture community, DXC technology, with whom we worked for a program on enterprise architecture, which is really a program for practicing architects. So with that, I would really, hand over the floor to Padma. Padma, where are you? Yeah. Padma, please come.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So after a great lunch, I hope I don't end up putting you all to sleep. But I'll just flow through my slides. So at ITC Infotech, we had a bunch of mid-level tech leads, okay? And always with the mid-level tech leads, there's a need to be cool and to be architects and technologists. And so we had a bunch of people who were very interested in, becoming the next aspiring architect. So these were the crying needs for having a program which was put together very thoughtfully by Stackroot. So we had a lot of siloed technologists. I mean, we had technologists who were focusing only on, let's say, data science. We had technologists who were focusing on Java or .NET, as the case may be. We had silos of technologists, quite outdated technologists. I mean, some of them were just so engrossed, and they were in the trenches with their day-to-day jobs and their deliveries, and they couldn't even, pause and look at the changes happening around them, and they did not have a well-rounded, holistic view of what is needed to be an architect, right? And if they were to have a conversation with any of the people sitting in the front row, I guess very soon the conversation would break down. Neither of you would be able to understand each other. So they were not able to, have a business context or a, well-rounded context with which they could hold the attention and take things forward, right? And in the services industry, since we deal very closely with the customers, the initial part where you have to defend your proposal, where you have to do, let's say, pre-sales, because I had pre-sales at ITC Infotech, so we really have to present a compelling solution. And when the customer asks some questions or challenges it, very quickly it breaks down. Our guys are not able to defend, have a strong point of view, and they're not able to push back. And documentation skills are very poor, to put it very politely. I mean, the ability to write succinctly, to speak unambiguously, and to, put forth your thoughts in very crisp, unambiguous terms is not there, okay? So we wanted them to have all these skills. I mean, in the Western world, like someone was mentioning, a lot of these people have a well-rounded background. They know a bit of finance, operations, business, and all that. But our guys, I mean, they know only programming, and they just keep saying that they are Java architects or Microsoft architects without really understanding the, unsaid, the implied things that a business owner or, CXO may have. So they're not able to connect with the management or client. And, the post-COVID, since people are all working from homes, a lot of, impromptu discussions, collaborations was all missing. See, the best learning happens in a collaborative environment. It's not in a command and control center. I mean, that works in schools. But, the best learning happens when you're working late night for a project where everyone is just sweating through it, and you get a lot of insights and you learn so much from each other. That connect was missing. We didn't have technologists who knew what the other side was doing. So we had a crying need to broaden and reset everyone's thinking. And that was when Vishnupriya and her team put forth a very well laid out program. And we worked closely with her, and we fine-tuned it. We got a lot of inputs from the team also. And that's how we put together this program. So our selection process was, we of course had to get executive sponsorship. So we impressed upon our management upon the need to have such a program. We told them that, we need to get all these people to the next level. And so we handpicked the senior tech leads whom we felt, would benefit largely from this program. We gave them a bunch of assessment background material, asked them to go through it. We had some informal interviews, set expectations, and then we finally culled out about 20 to 25 people, and we said that they would be the ones who could go through this program. So, of course, this program, starting from the get-go, the duration of the program, the timing of the program, all those operational things were a challenge to begin with. Since everyone is in the delivery industry, and nowadays with this Scrum, which I really hate, the 2-week Scrum, where, you just have 2 weeks for each sprint, and even if you miss one day, it's 10% of the time gone, right? So people were very wary of, spending a long time in such a program. So we had to thoughtfully pick out the timings and all that. So morning 7 to 10 was when most of the people agreed on, because most of the client calls would happen in the evening. So we fixed the time slot. And since it was such a diverse, motley group of people, the expectations had to be set up. Some people came about thinking that they would learn hard skills. But the beauty of this program was that you had to change their mindset, right? Their way of thinking. We need to make them think of the larger problem at hand, how to influence in a subtle way, influence without authority, all those things that we spoke about, the unsaid, the implied stuff. So we made it clear to them that, this is not a hard-skilled program where there are plenty of other venues to get such hard skills. So we thought that we had to really educate on what they would get out of the program. It's from the group, the presentations, the case study-based approach, from where they would get maximum value. So we set their expectations clear. And since everyone was also busy in their day-to-day jobs, not completing the assignments on time, that was a perennial problem. So these were the problems. The solutions were, since many of the people were quite junior, we told them that it's not a crime and the world is not going to stop if you miss a couple of meetings in the morning, your Scrum meetings. Please impress upon your client that it's just twice a week for 6 weeks. You will not be able to give your Scrum updates, and talk to your manager, ask him to present your updates on email or other ways, and things will be fine. Nothing is going to break off. The world is not going to end. So some of them we had to handhold to such an extent, because they were quite junior and they didn't know how to actually put forth their points in a positive way. So we had to handhold them on how to get time off from their regular meetings. And we also had StackRoot keep all these materials offline, keep recording, so that if people missed those sessions, they could listen to it at their convenience. So constant encouragement, flexibility in submissions, and all that. And when some people were expecting detailed sessions on cloud, on containerization and Kubernetes and all that, they wanted deep dive sessions on that. So we did cover that to some extent, and then we had interventions by Dr. Priya and her team, where we told them that it is not a deep dive session, and we gave them a broad level perspective of the technological aspects, but then the whole program was about, getting a broader sense and, and not a deep dive into a technology-based program. So the one thing is, we have to keep the program short and sweet. Less than 2 months seems to be the sweet spot at which you can take such a program to scale. Dr. Priya did warn us that it's not going to sustain if you're going to keep it for 3 months. So that really, that made a lot of sense, in retrospect. So keeping it at 5 to 6 weeks and giving a lot of encouragement to the team, being flexible with the recordings and other things, those things have helped in getting the program to completion. So finally, we did complete it, and we had about 20 plus people completing the program successfully. So the outcomes achieved: broaden thinking, inculcate a sense of introspection. So we had case study-based approach, healthy criticism. See, the whole point of this program was in group work, group collaboration, where you critique each other's ideas, where you get a chance to present your solutions. So hopefully their presentation and solution defense skills were taken up and improved upon. Precise and succinct documentation. We had exposure to a whole lot of good templates from StackRoot, and better handling of their current engagements, especially since they are leading large engagements, they get a chance to mine their accounts. So it hopefully helped in all of these. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Padma. The next speaker I'm going to call is Murale Narayanan. For those of you who do not know Murale, Murale is known for his very short, impactful talk, and I've known him since 2014, 2015, I think so. Murale has this habit. He will tell only 2 sentences. The first sentence will be the challenge that he faces today, and the second sentence will be the future state that he wants to see. So there won't be anything in between. So Murale came to us and said, the challenge is we need to continue to hold on to our customers, address their unmet needs while continuing to innovate and transform by increasing operational efficiency. And the future state that I'm looking to is we have to build SRE teams that can work in conjunction with our DevOps and automation teams to infuse reliability into the entire software lifecycle. So Murali gave only these 2 sentences, and now I'm handing it over to Murali to see how we did it. Thanks.
Thank you, Priya. So I have 2 challenges from an organization perspective. One, I'm running a business, the managed services business, the large team in India supporting the global technical delivery. One, enterprise-wise, the challenge, the Dell. Overall, we hire only the architect, and now the developers and all the stuff. And what happened, when we are growing, we become a silo organization or silo skills, right? When we started hiring the people with the storage architect, data protection architect, or cloud architect, but in the 5 years or 10 years before, we call it as a subject matter expert, correct? Now is all about multi-skilling. Platform, we talk about that the platform engineer to know about your network layer until your application layer. And full stack engineer. This is what we wanted to do that. And my organization, close to 12 years old, and has been rapidly growing and transforming that skill set to the customer base. And the first challenge is all about, hey, you are running a technical organization. How you build your, future-ready skills? And we being a technology company, that's the way that, SRE concept has come. And interacting with the Dr. Yogesh and Dr. Priya, hey, this is what we wanted to put across, building the next generation of architects. Not only just coding, also understanding the platform, understanding the customer sentiment, looking at the product, and the services organization should have a candid voice on the table with the engineering organization. So there are a lot of brainstorm session happened last couple of years, and 4 years before I taken over that program, the Tech Age as a sponsor. I started building the curriculum and introducing absolutely that, going through that AL, ML, SRE, everything onto that one. And all of the talent pool, they're not able to digest that. The current workforce, what they're doing what they're going through the program. That's one challenge. Second, I said about my organization, correct? The customer's expectations, platform availability, almost 99, 5 nines. And the 3 months later, we realized that all the new customers coming on board, they need some, rigorous way of operating. I don't want a customer to tell that your alert is missing and something is happening. Go and check the proactive management. That's the way that the SRE concept came into the picture, and we started, looking at that all the opportunity, current skill set, what are the talent pool we have, how we are going to scale them to meet that industry demand or customer demand. And the partnering with the stack route, putting our problem statement, the customer expectations and all the stuff into the and outcome I'll show it to you. And we become a proactive management, and we are not there for 100% as a SRE organization, but absolutely. Today, some customers, they said, no dashboard. We don't want a dashboard. We don't want any alert comes into that one. But my SRE engineers has to fix anything happens in the infrastructure. Yep. So this is what Dr. Priya and the team have assisted to put together as a the problem statement. Also, this is what we wanted to do that. So we have created a lot of opportunity internally, presented to our senior leadership. We got that approval. This is a 12 months program. We don't want it to be operating like a 6 month or something. We start from the beginning of. Even though they have very strong, architecture background, we wanted to make sure that they go through the rigorous process and broaden the thinking and deepen the knowledge and elevate the delivery. At the end, every business, I'm talking to the engineering team, hey, you have a couple of Tech Age, the professional completed the 12 months course, and every year, what they're adding, they're creating a lot of co-innovating the patent and the product enhancement, and talking to the customer with the data. And also they're suggesting, not only the suggesting, also improving or enhancing the product lifecycle. Say they become a Navy SEAL, correct? And after 12 months, there are some 50 to 60% of the talent pool absolutely change their mindset, the way they're talking to the customer, interacting with the business. These are the areas they developed. And it's a very, very rigorous, the time-consuming process. We spend not only the money, correct? We spent some 12 months dedicated time with everyone. Coming back to my organization, this is parallelly going on. We have a Dell team here. Half of my leadership team is here. Can you stand up and say hi? And my architect team also here. And they did a fabulous job. Thank you. So they did the fabulous job taking that vision into the reality and moving towards that how we can apply in a managed services business. And we are managing the production environment for all of our tier 1 customers. This is what happened. Next. And architects mainly to know about the coding or the particular technology domain and all the stuff, but the leadership team in from Stack Root, okay, this is one thing, but we need to elevate in the thinking process in a differently. Look at the business acumen. When I started looking at that one presenting to our internal leadership, they're really blown up with the level of thinking what we are coming up with. The business and tech connections, service excellence, or services should know about the product mindset. The product people should know the services mindset. So design thinking workshop, number of things happen. And the building that SRE principles, DevOps, tools chain, these are the things we introduced. And when I say the 12 months program, there is a 3 stage of evaluating that every individuals, midterm review, end-term review, and all the stuff. They has to walk through. And the graduation is not so easy. Only the 80% of the people will get graduated. And the professional leadership, mainly to technical people, the communication is a key challenge when you're interacting with the customer. So we started building some of the communication model for them, how to interact with the people. And from the basic to that, the expert level, it's absolutely was going really well, and 80% of the people and enjoy doing it. There are a lot of absence in the initial stage, but of course, in the graduation time, we'll see that a lot of momentum happening. So close to 500, the architect today, managing that some of the number 1 product and the life cycle today from India Center of Excellence. And of course, we talk about the service excellence. We don't want it to say that everything is going well. When I say everything is going well, we'll always go on, challenge the status quo. What is going well? Let's go on, send some canary script and see that what is environment is happening. Let's get some script. We want to know what's happening and kind of. And once the program is done in 10 months' time, and they started producing some of the strategic white papers based on the learning, product, services, and moving to the next level of ideating or submitting some of the disclosure into the patent program, and this is really going well. So when I talk about some of the outcome I cannot be pleased, and as an organization leader, as overall the Dell, as a program is widely acceptable for all the engineering services, product, and these organizations, but only the restricted a number of people will be getting into the program because the high potential, they have a talent, go through the number of reviews and all the stuff, absolutely is meeting that criteria. And of course, when I say that business as usual, we always challenge. And looking at that, all that articulation of, how we are meeting that SLA and all the stuff. If you are meeting that, 3 9s, why don't you meet the 4 9s? That's kind of a self-critical way of managing our business, and we are very successful today. And absolutely, the design thinking and also the bringing the new paradigm of, elevating ourselves, looking at that opportunity, what is going well, and we done, number of programs and presented to the customers, and customers love our approach, and the confidence absolutely is increased. And looking at that, the batches, we get some demand of 500 people, but we select only 25 people. Yep, when I say that, this become, how do you say that, reduce the cognitive load on the current resources, moving them into the complex activities, doing some more architecture work, and the voice on the table with the engineering and product organizations. Hey, I'm services guy. These are the problem I'm facing. This is what we want to do that. So every request for change or architecture change, we'll take it in a very candid way, and deployed or release cycle comes, our ideas into that product life cycle. That's a big win-win situation for us. And the SRE concept, I see that number of my leadership team, And one thing we did that, we changed the job title from a delivery architect or storage architect to the SRE engineering. We have some SRE engineering managers, senior manager. Everything in the job title also changed to make sure that this is what they're doing it. Our hiring strategy has absolutely changed. We are no longer hiring the silo engineers, computer engineering network. We are hiring the people with the development knowledge or coding knowledge. That the technical skills, everything will go through the 3 months boot camp to learn about. And they can be able to do the SRE engineering, reducing the toil and reduction and the decreasing the trend of the incidents and alerts. Absolutely, we see that the customer love it. We see that the huge benefit of running that SRE principles into that one. We are not there 100%. Absolutely, our roadmap is pretty clear, and how do you want to take it forward? So when I say that, the team members are become very sharp in having the title, started doing it and everything. They can walk on the water today. So thank you so much for that engaging, the Dell and some of the thought leadership coming from you. And the SRE engineer, I'm talking to my ex-colleague, Hari from Google. I definitely will touch upon some of the SRE, what he is doing it from the Google Map perspective. And any questions that are there, I'm happy to take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Murali. Thank you very much. The next and the last speaker for this discussion is Nishith Pathak from DXC Technologies. Yeah. So for Nishith, it was architecting for change that we did for practicing architects. So Nishith's ask was, the need was to build enterprise architects who drive value to digital transformation. The ask was very clear. So Nishith will also tell what he wants and what he also doesn't want. So he said 3 things very clearly. He said, moving people from just being a tech theorist to pragmatic communicators. Number 2, not being system advocates, but moving them to engineers who know both business and technology sides of the organization and the project. And number 3, I do not want gatekeepers. They have to really move to becoming a coach and mentor, which Nishith strongly believes in. Nishith, thank you. Over to you. Thanks.
It's actually not good to be before the lunch and after the lunch. Hopefully, I will do justice for that. So this is a session, right? So this is a training program that we were collaborated with StackRoot, and it's not just me who has worked it out. There are a lot, like of Pawan, Sunish. There were a lot of other guys who has worked with me. They are all there, who has been part of this stuff. And the whole idea is that, see, when we are talking about enterprise architect, I think Dr. Pallab Saha has given a fantastic definition of the enterprise, right? For me, the enterprise architect is a full stack architect, right? So we are from the service lines, right? And we also want to make sure that we also came up with a new definition of an architect because we are from the CNI, which is cloud and infrastructure. We talked about what is CNI, right? So an architect is all about, we call it as VPC, and the normal acronym for VPC is Virtual Private Cloud. But one of our business technical leader within DXC actually have said that let's have new acronym for architects. And it calls out VPC is, V for visibility, right? What's the whole point of you being an architect if you are not being able to create a lot of visibility, which means that what's the whole point of being a pilot if you are not driving the planes? What's the whole point of being a surgeon if you are not doing a right surgery? And P for personal impact and C for community impact, right? And that is what we want to really engage as a part of this whole program. And this was really driven out as part of it because, collaboration has been, if you are coming from a big organization, you would realize collaboration has been a key issues for all of us and a key challenges. Collaborating and working within the community is important. And what we want our enterprise architect is to also learn and understand, what does it take to become an enterprise architect, right? And when we came out, we try to make the things very simple, right? So there are 4 types of architect. One is aspiring, second is technical architect, third is of course, solutioning architect, and fourth is the enterprise architect, and then enterprise architect is really the final one. And for me, this is really a transformation stage, and we spend it out. And I thoroughly believe that we are living in an area of we economy, because it's not something that we take a services and we get it done. It is always co-create, co-collaborate, and co-innovate. And that is how we've collaboratively worked with StackRoute, came up with this plan. It was really an amazing stuff. The whole idea was getting the both part of the word from the business perspective, from the technology perspective. Of course, there was nothing all from the technology aspects, like no technology is being covered, but what does it talk about being an architect? And of course, we spend a lot of time understanding how can we really apply some of the architects, like the stuff which is being coming out, right? So TOGAF and other being applied out, and this is where this whole stuff came in, right? So the main three areas where we really emphasize as a part of this program was having a strategic mindset, which is really a key for an enterprise architect. So we spend a lot of time, understanding it out. We also spend a lot of time, how to understand the process, and which is very important, and also moving from a T-shaped architect to an X-shaped architect, which is really key important for any architects to work out, right? And it was not an easy stuff, right? Because there was a lot of groundwork working together. I think somewhere from November till March or so, we work with, Vishnupriya and team, coming up with the whole curriculum, what we exactly really want. And we want to make sure that this becomes more like an agile. We came up with the same process, right? Identifying and filtering the right architects, who can be eligible for it. There were people from application service lines as well as the security, modern warfare, across all the service lines. There were 34 participants or the architects which has been identified for getting it trained. There were 24 virtual infrastructure sessions. There were 10 mentoring sessions. And besides that, what we also, complemented out this program was bringing the leaders from DXC also to speak over there, because then they can correlate, right? So it was not just the one side of it, it was just a combined effort. And then there was mentoring by some of the senior architects, right? And then there were leadership connect sessions that was quite essential. And I have one video which I want to probably, this was the steppers for the program. I just want to show that, some of these people are already stuffed in. I want to just run this,
Enterprise Architect for an Agile Business, a 5-month program is designed for practicing solution and technology architects, aspiring to become enterprise architects. This program is designed in collaboration with DXC and our partner NIIT StackRoute. This initiative demonstrates the strategic mindset required by an enterprise architect to drive digital transformation. Program adopted the blended learning approach where we had virtual instructor-led sessions, debates and brainstorming, mentoring sessions and DXC Leadership Connects, group discussions and case study presentations, and assessments. This whole learning journey has helped our employees to transform from T-shaped to X-shaped enterprise architects. The Leadership Connects gave a great experience. Overall, it was a successful learning journey, where all employees of this program were highly benefited, as a part of their capability building. This initiative was appreciated by all leaders. This program has received an excellent feedback from the participants, and here we present you the feedbacks shared by them about their learning journey.
Has increased the opportunity to grow and develop my career as an EA.
I achieved a greater amount of knowledge on EA now. Also learned various techniques and approaches to solve the real-life use cases.
DXC Leadership Connect was inspiring and informative.
My overall learning experience has improved about how an enterprise architect strategy mindset to be used by and large EA process usage.
Thank the entire EA program team for helping me develop the business perspective mindset and culture.
I like most the learning engagement. On scale of 1 to 10, my experience is definitely 10.
Even though this program ends, our learning journey continues. Happy learning.
So that was the program, and I just want to call out some of our DXC architects that has been part of this session. Can the DXC architects please stand up, please? There are some of them who have been part of these sessions. then fantastic. There are some people who are actually creating some poster sessions over here, right? You would have seen Pinto in this video as well. So the whole idea was this stuff to make sure that they collaborate and create a lot of visibilities around it. And that is what the stuff has came out as part of the stuff. So that is what fantastic stuff that has been done. So thank you so much for being part of it and, being part of this session. And in terms of the output, I think that having a strategic mindset, making sure that T2X shaped stuff came out, and making sure that thought leadership, because for me, the main important thing is that each and every architect for me needs to be a thoughtful leader. In case if he is not creating a thought leadership, what's the whole point? He might not be able to create a point of view for his own clients. So for me, that was exactly important, and this is still core to my overall agenda, as I drive that capability for us. And after doing this training, we didn't stop out, right? We said, and we collaborated with Vishnupriya and said that, hey, what else we can do more, right? And then we started, making sure that, we started having a discussion, right? Because the journey should not end here. And that is very important for us. And that is where, we started having a discussions around with our all the 34 architects, that how they can contribute and then go to the next level as such. For me, building a pipeline of enterprise architect and taking this is really crucial and very, very important. And I think even at this outside, right, beyond this whole purview of this whole panel, right, I would say that, we have worked together, immensely and created this collaboration and this architect conference. Then I want to make sure that, Dr. Ballabh Saha, for you, I will request you, let's take this into a next level of stuff, because 2024, we want to make it more bigger. We want to make it more impactful. We want to make sure that we are thinking about an Indian economy, and we want to have these architects as the brighter minds to help out creating a new, UDI and stuff like that, and the next set of architects that we can all be proud of. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nishith. Thanks to Padma, Murale, Nishith, again for taking your time for doing this. We are really, really honored, privileged, and we are very blessed to have these customers who push boundaries for us, who make us take the next step. In fact, it was Nishith's brainchild that he said, no, we should do this conclave. And Nishith, his attention to detail, wanting excellence and quality, and also wanting it tomorrow. And then we have leaders like Bimal who want yesterday. Thank God for small mercies that I have Yogesh in between, that I was managing. I got 6 weeks time to do this. So, but a big round of applause to Murale, Nishith, and Padma for doing this. Thank you so much. But I will also take this opportunity to launch this role readiness pack that we are doing for architects. A lot of this you see on the slide will resonate from Nishith's panel. Vijay spoke about exemplar skills. Srini from Bosch spoke about all the technical process, domain skills, the ability to network, influencing. In fact, if you see, most of these role readiness are much confined to only assessments today. But we're taking it a lot more. As I said, it has to, people as Google, you start Google Maps, first you have to tell where you are to even decide where you want to go, right? So first is understanding where you are and understanding the landscape of what presents to you, because architecture, as Vijay from Swiggy said, there is a pragmatic difference between software development and architecture. The line between both is a very tricky one, and people have to understand what it takes to get there, what it takes to sustain as a role of an architect. That is not easy. Getting it is one thing, but then being able to sustain in the role of an architect, becoming a mentor, becoming a coach, embarking on a journey to becoming a thought leader is the next step. So this is a combination of what we say. It's just not the readiness self-assessment, which in fact comes the last. So a lot of it is understanding your competencies today and what is a mindset required for the architect role. This includes external networking, internal networking, understanding the business landscape and all of that. A lot of self-learning materials, a lot of immersive workshops, and all of this put together. But happy to talk to any of you more on this if you're interested. But we just thought we should announce this role readiness pack today as on the significant milestone of completing 1,500 architects in our journey, and also this great conclave that we have done today. Thank you all very, very much.